Well, I've always lifted weights and tried to stay in shape. But when you're working 12 hours a day in a business, you tend to just overeat, and age gets to you, and before you know it, you're 350 pounds. And since my office is up 2 flights of stairs, it was hard to get up and down stairs. It was hard to sit in an airplane seat. It was embarrassing when you have to ask for a seatbelt extension. You know, it's terrible. So life was getting a little bit difficult. It was hard to buy clothes. You had to spend big money for clothes because you couldn't find them big enough. You go from that to not being able to find them small enough a lot of times. So it's pretty interesting. You know what? You don't realize really how big you are. You're overweight and huffing and puffing. You start getting a little bit of hypertension. You start getting to be a borderline diabetic, but it doesn't soak in until you really come to grips with your weight. And what we learned from Dr. Hargroder is that people are just wired different ways. And it's really not your fault that you're overweight. Really, the only way to permanently fix it is to rewire your circuitry. And that's what he does. Well, I was a borderline diabetic and on medication for high blood pressure. And the day after the surgery, no blood pressure medicine and no diabetic stuff. I think it's a miracle. And our family doctor said they just really don't know all they need to know about that yet. Said it's just really pretty amazing. I think it's just a new lease on life. I lost 190, went from 350 down to 160, and swear to God, I got to the point where I didn't think I was gonna quit. I mean, it just kept falling off, and I called Dr. Hargroder and said, I'm wasting away to nothing here. And he said, well, are you at your computer? And I said, yeah. He said, well, look up the life insurance height and weight tables. I said, okay. He said, what's it say? And I said, 150. He said, well, you're still 10 pounds to the good, you know. Call me when you get below 150. And it stopped. It hit 160 and just stopped like a rock. Now, since then, it took about 2 years to get down to that level. So I just continually dropped weight for the 2 years. And you drop down to 250. You thought, well, that's it, you know, because you start leveling out. So you go buy clothes, and by the time you got home, they were too big for you. And you start losing again. I mean, it just kept dropping over that 2-year period. Now I've gained about 15 pounds back. And actually, I think that's probably good. And there again, I can't seem to get any heavier than that no matter what I eat. I don't seem to get a whole lot lower than that. It's kind of nice to not have to really worry about too much what you eat. After I had lost the weight, I followed his program. You have to make sure you heal upright. I mean, you've got a certain amount of time there that you need to do what they tell you so that you get the permanent fix. You know, just do it. And it's real easy to do, you know, just follow the rules for 6 months, and then you're pretty well set. And it's not that you have to eat or not eat certain things, just your system won't let you. Well, now I'm just a lot more active. I mean, back in 5 or 6 years ago, I couldn't even think about running 6 miles. I mean, you couldn't have done it without hurting my knees. Like I said, we'd travel quite a bit, and when you have to get on an airplane and squeeze into a 3-seat row and ask for a seatbelt extension, and it was embarrassing. I had a car that I could barely get in. You know, that's terrible. There's a lot of people, and I'll be 59 here in a couple of weeks, and there's a lot of people my age that are really in not very good shape. And so you look at those folks and you think, well, you know, they could get in better condition. It's something that you can't tell somebody to go do it. They have to want to do it. So you can't push them that way. You just have to make up your mind for yourself. My sister-in-law came down here to get it done with Hargroder. And I got to looking at what she did, just 5 little puncture wounds, which on me you can't even see them now, they're completely gone. But she had the 5 little puncture wounds, and she was out of the hospital the next day and did great. That did it for me. I said, for the price, I thought it was a bargain. And it amazes me. Some insurance companies will cover it, some won't. I'm amazed that they won't. It'll save them money in the long run. Gosh, you know, I'd probably be a diabetic on insulin and in pretty sad shape, I'm pretty sure, if not had a heart attack or something else by then. It's something that people really need to consider if they can afford it at all. And it is affordable. Well, number one, I'd say do it like I did. Visit with people that have had it done, and that's a real crucial part of the process. They want you to know what you're getting into. They're very serious about that. So you read all the literature, you understand the procedure, you understand what's going to happen to you, and you talk to a lot of people, and you don't just talk to the ones that have had good success. I mean, they're pretty open about letting you talk to anybody. So you know what you're getting into. And then you go to meetings and talk to real live people that have done it. And I don't know why you wouldn't do it. If you're severely obese and have a BMI up over 42 or 43, it's the way to go. I think he's just great. I mean, how many doctors do you know that'll give you their cell phone number and they answer it even 5 years after you had the surgery? And he's just as real a person as you'd ever want to meet. You almost feel like a reformed smoker. You know, you want to preach it to everybody. And you see someone that's heavy, you want to go up to them and say, you know, you can fix that. But you can't. You know, society won't let you do that. But you do want to preach it to people. My wife was just great about it. Other family members were a little worried about it, you know. Then after I had it done, I had such a good success with it that our daughter had it done, Amy, and she's had real good success with it. So you see people that have varying degrees of success, but all of them have fairly good success. And we've had other friends that have had it done. And again, some have done fantastic and others have done just, you know, so-so. When you sit down and do your pre-op with the doctor, and you spend quite a bit of time with him, he says, well, how much weight do you want to lose? I'm like, are you kidding me? You can fine-tune it to that degree. And he said, well, it's not real scientific. I mean, we can get it to some point, but on how much surgery they do depends on how much weight you lose to a degree. And I said, well, I'm going to do it. I want to go all the way. And so that's what he did. And he expected I'd get down to 170, 180. And that's where I'm at right now, 180. It's just amazing that he could do that, I think. I was with a friend that was doing a triathlon, so I picked up on that. And so now I work out pretty regularly. I try to get 5 or 6 hours a week in, keep my cardiovascular health good, and that'll keep some of the weight off of you. But again, it doesn't matter really how much I tend to work out, or how much I eat or how little I eat. I stay about the same weight. I can't eat a lot of meat. A few bites of meat and you're full, or it'll make you nauseous. I used to eat Triscuits by the box full. Now I eat a couple, I get nauseous, you know, so you can't eat them anymore. So just some things you can't eat anymore. I've noticed on cruises, they bring all this food and you can't eat it, and they're all over you. You know, is there something wrong with the food? You know, no, I'm fine. I just can't get it all down. That's kind of funny. I went to my 40th year high school class reunion in south of St. Louis, and I walked away with the prize of the most changed. Like I say, I've always been kind of a heavy guy, and it blew people away. I would say if you're obese to the morbid level, and you can find out what that is, and I'm sure that they know it, it would be worth your time to investigate. Just get in touch with Hargroder's group and go to one of his meetings. It will change your life.